Beautiful humans, welcome back to another episode of the I Like Birds podcast. I'm your host, Zach Rippey, and this podcast is dedicated to the non-believers, the confused believers, and the true believers. Because I, at one time or another, was all three, and I'm here to help you get a better understanding of who Jesus is and what he's all about. Let's grow in our faith together. You learn as I learn. I like the Bible, and I like words, so therefore, I like birds. Let's start the show.
People, are you ready?
Yeah, they're good?
Let's start the show. Let's start the show.
You guys just heard me checking my levels, but we're going to keep it real, man. Let's just get right to it today. I don't want to take more than one take. I want to just be real with you guys. No small talk, because my small talk is when I mess up my, that's when I have to stop and then record and then stop and then record again because I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. Let's just get into what I wrote. Let's keep it real today. This episode, you didn't come here for the jokes today. I don't know. Maybe you did and they'll naturally come, but I don't know if I wrote any, all right? Or maybe I'm just naturally funny, and I agree with that. But not to be on that level with you guys right now. I just want to get straight into the message. You came for truth. I'm going to give you truth. I'm giving you all of me. It's something that's very passionate and very powerfully blended with my life right now. I'm stinking pumped about it. If you can't tell, I feel like I have this fire in my spirit right now. I'm ready to give this episode. I have the whole RV to myself right now. I'm on family beach vacation. It's been phenomenal, but I've been grinding while I'm here. I bring my Bible on vacation. I wake up and I read it before my kids get up, and that does not happen very often in my own dwelling. So I set the whole tone for the summer the same way I did last year when I was out here just getting deep in the Word and just becoming a Christ and just on fire for Him. And this episode is, man, I'm just pumped about it. So let's do this, all right? So it's going to be one that's going to let you guys know what kind of direction I'm going in, right? It's going to be Christ-centered, of course, but this is a very personal episode, and I'm giving it to you guys because I'm bringing you guys along with me on this next season of the ministry and the walk with Christ of Zach Rippey. All right, so you might have noticed that this episode doesn't have the name Christ in it, but also it is all, of course, all about Christ for the most part. But I'm calling this album mode because I am now about to be in album mode. If you don't know, album mode is what I describe it as because I was a huge fan of hip-hop before Christ. And I still like Russ and Drake, and sometimes I'll tune into something I used to listen to, like some old 𝐂𝐿, or I still like Kanye. All right, so those are my three guys. I love me some Kanye, I love me some Drake, and I love me some Russ. All right, but anyway, I know back to the point. I know what an artist does when they're actively recording an album. Okay, because I study the game. Album mode for an artist means everything changes. Your focus is all about that album. Everything that's going on in your life, everything that you're doing in your life at that moment is elevating yourself to be able to record the best album of your career. Kanye West's albums are all sonically so different and brilliant. There is a reason that they call him a musical genius. And I think he's a genius out of the studio too. But that's a conversation for another day. Because when Kanye West is in album mode, he intellectually and internally changes his entire setting, his habits, and his mindset. For instance, I'll give you a small example, but there are so many. I definitely recommend you watch some Kanye documentaries on YouTube to see his process for making his albums. It is incredible to see. So just look up Kanye West album making process. There's like a documentary for each album he makes by this one guy. I think it's called Mad Ruley or something like that is his handle. But man, it is so good. Anyway, back to Christ. For instance, when Kanye was recording his fourth album, he went to Hawaii, right? So think about this. This was after the whole Taylor Swift thing popped off, and he was basically an outcast of society. They were trying to cancel him before cancel culture was cool and just, make him look super crappy in the eyes of the media. And granted, what he did was wrong, but I don't think that completely destroying somebody as a person for one decision is the healthiest way to go about what happens in this world and in our culture. And the more you know God, the more you realize that. More on that in a little bit. But anyway, for instance, the next episode. For instance, when he recorded his fourth album, he went to Hawaii to a studio. And everyone that Kanye flew in to work on that album, from the most like baller people in music to the scrubs, to people that he hasn't discovered, that the world hasn't discovered yet, to Kid Cudi, who he was bringing up on with. He basically brought so many different talents, but he made them all wear a suit. To the studio. He said, if you're going to come work on this album, you're going to wear a suit. And I love that. It shows that the professionalism he had. It shows the dedication for the album was at an all-time high. And also just shows the kind of vibe he wanted for the album to make beautiful music. It's so cool. It just like, you know, it's weird how you can take something that somebody does and just kind of like really just kind of formulate your own kind of style of stuff while watching them, you know. And that's why I'm not saying to have false idols, but, you know, pre-Christ I had false idols, you know, but I studied them, you know, and I've learned from them, despite the fact that I don't like idolize them, you know, anymore. You know what I mean? I love me some Kanye, Drake, and Russ, but, you know, it's all about Christ now. You know, I'll choose Christ any day. I'm in here right now recording a podcast instead of an album when I used to do albums, you know what I mean? So it's definitely something that we need to consider, just intellectually, to think back on like who we used to love and like why did we love them, and find that good quality that we loved about them and build off that in our own life through the lens of Christ. Getting a little off topic here, but I'm not comparing myself to Kanye West here, right? But I'm taking on the mindset. Listen, people, I'm taking on the mindset of album mode for this next project I'm going to dedicate my life to. All right? And that project for me that I've been telling you guys about, and I've been telling my wife about, I've been telling people around me about, I've been just really building the blocks in my head on how to do it, is a book. Your boy gonna write a book, all right? I've been saying it for a while, so you guys kind of already know that, but this is the year I'm doing it. I'm going to dedicate at least 4 days of my week, God willing. Hopefully he allows that to happen with my schedule and the family situation out here in the RV life with Noah being here and stuff like that. And I don't know when I'm going to have it finished, but I want to start it this summer, man. I already started it, but I need to start getting back into it, because I stopped writing it before Armani passed away. And then Armani passed away, and I was like, bro, I'm in no spirit to write this book anymore. Like, I'm broken. I'm devastated. All the emotions, of course. My best friend passed away, you know? So, granted, Christ helped get me through that, and I could have just been writing about stuff in real time, but I didn't want it to be my first book to be in that headspace of just really gloomy and whatnot. I wanted it to, and, you know, figuring things out with death. You know, I learned a lot through Armani's death, just spiritually, and the way the world is and the way life is. So I didn't want to write it, and you guys get the point. Why am I over-explaining things? All right. Anyway, so I'm getting back into it. I'm stinking pumped about it. I'm going to finish it, and I don't know when I'm going to finish it, but I'm going to finish it. You know, I don't really take on projects that I don't finish. I've been really good about that in my life. It's been a very blessed quality that I have. If I start something, I majority of the time finish it, especially when it's something creative, and it has to do with writing, you know. But it had to do with like changing the sink or something. I'm going to call somebody. I don't know how to change the sink. Something like that, right? All right, where are we? I'm telling you, I'm not doing 2 takes, so I'm losing my space here. I'm just keeping it 100 with you guys right now. Okay, so I'm going to do 4 days of my week is the plan. And I've been setting myself up. This is the whole point. This is what album mode's about. I've been setting myself up this whole past month of May and June to get to this point, right? And this is what I really wanted to share with you guys that I think will help you out as well, all right? So remember, I'm talking about me and my faith journey, but it's going to help you in your faith journey. And a lot of times a faith journey also is kind of life, all right? So I'm kind of going to give you some inside baseball, all right? So doing this book is going to be like building a house, all right? So building this book is going to be like building a house. But in order to build a house, you need the right tools, the time, and the most importantly, the strong foundation. And also, while I was reading those 3 examples of what you need to build a house, I also thought about land. You need land, all right? But that's why I'm in an RV, baby. My land is the map, all right? Where I show up, we're laying down the bricks, right? But I also can't build this house without any of those things I said. The right tools, the time, and the strong foundation, right? So with the book, I needed to lay down the bricks before I got to this point to where I'm adding the doors and windows, if that makes sense. In other words, I had to get my habits and my weak human tendencies in check. the old me, the natural flesh, the shared DNA of Adam. I have to get that in check. And you listening, there's probably some things you got to get in check too. Stop beating around the bush here, all right? I'm talking to me, but I'm talking to you. God revealed to me what I needed to eliminate week by week, and pray about it. If you need something to be eliminated, pray that God helps you eliminate the things that are holding you back from knowing God more or just doing life better. But you know God more, you do life better. That's just the truth. So for about 6 weeks into our RV journey, I did kind of an episode about it where I told you guys about my cell phone addiction, but let me just reiterate it for the people that haven't tuned in that far back and are just here for this episode specifically, because I care about you guys, all right? It's not just for the people who've been here since day one. It's for new believers, confused believers, and true believers, all right? And that's you. So for about 6 weeks into my wife and I's RV journey, we have a little baby named Malachi. He's dope. He's almost 2 years old. And we're just doing life. Noah comes for the spring break, winter break, and the summer. So far he's been here for the spring break with the RV, but that's when we first started. So we're back. We're a couple months seasoned in, so he's coming for summer, and we're pumped. But long story short, I'll tell you this. 6 weeks into it, I realized how addicted I was to checking the stock market and just being on my phone throughout the entire day when I was living this life that was just like beautiful, right? So I freelance write from time to time, and I focus on this ministry specifically. Like, this is my baby, right? You guys are my baby. I love you. But I'm also a full-time father to a handsome little rascal that keeps my wife and I more than busy, right? So I have little time for distractions like my phone and the stock market and Twitter and what Joe Biden did and what Kamala Harris said about Europe. And I've created a world that despises them, right? I've created a world where I'm on the road. I'm out here. I'm talking to people. I'm looking at mountains. I'm hiking. I'm fishing. I'm letting Malachi ride his bike outside. I'm drinking coffee in the morning. I don't got to go clock into work. You know, I'm living a life that is a dream right now that hates distractions. Yet I found myself for 6 weeks like, what's the price of Bitcoin? There's another dip. Should I buy the dip? And then it keeps dipping, you know? I was buying stocks while I was peeing. You know, I needed to chill. Robinhood makes it too easy. You swipe up to buy a stock. That is dangerous. Let's stop kidding ourselves. That's a little dangerous. I like E-Trade. You log in, you select it. You can do like market order, time order. You can do the stop price that you want. And then on Robinhood, they make that button like really tiny, really far away. They just want you to swipe up. Just buy it. And Robinhood's sketchy too. Definitely recommend getting off that. And I still got stuff in there, but I don't want to move my Bitcoin, you know, but I got to stop being lazy. Anyway, I get sidetracked, but y'all are with me, right? Sometimes you got to go on an exit to get back on the road, right? To keep it interesting, to keep it fresh, to keep it fun, right? I'm saying right like you're going to respond. I have little time, right? I have little time when I'm doing this, though. Even though, like, I'm not clocking in and stuff like that, there's a lot of things that are different when you're living in an RV, right? Waking up in a new city and most of the time a new state, I can't be having the distractions anymore. I've created a life that millions of people dream about. Like, I think about that sometimes, you know, and it's like, it's heavy. It's like, what am I doing with it? I'm over here checking the stock market for 6 weeks. That's what people that go to offices do, you know, and they're at their job, and their job is not what they wanted it to be, and they attach their success and their value on the price of their portfolio. That's worldly. I was doing that. I was kind of lost in that too, you know. It was like, I don't know, you just get so nervous, like being on the road and not having like the income you once had, or just a consistent income or disposable income. And I don't know, you're conditioned to be that way, I think, by this society and this culture. And I actually have an episode coming out that's a bird talk about the culture, and I really want you guys to listen to it. I think it's going to be called, let me see what I wrote it as. This is all in the moment. Let me clear this up. It's called a bird talk. I'm going to put that one out, I think, after this one, because it kind of coincides. But my goodness, heavy stuff. But yeah, man, living the dream, as they say in people's bio on MySpace. But Being plugged into the world while living that dream was not healthy. It was not Christ-like. I was worrying about the world instead of just focusing on the task that God like put me on, like the mission He put me on and the calling He put on my life. Like I was hesitant to talk to people about Jesus. I was in my own head with fear, of just dips and crashes and inflation. Like I was a hot mess. Every news article you read was lumber is 175% up than last year's total, and trying to freak you out with that, and then the CPI data comes out and there actually is really high inflation. So it's like, I mean, it's already here. Of course, you print trillions of dollars. Where do you think it's gonna go? And guys, man, just be alert, man. I was reading a lot of stuff last night about man, this is just some inside baseball, y'all. Just appreciate this real quick. We'll get back to this to the podcast in a second, but just listen to this real quick. And I want you to research this. Don't think I'm fact checking everything right here because I read it last night. I'm not over here with notes. All right. So there's a community in Texas, like a neighborhood development that had 124 houses in this neighborhood. So think about that, 124 houses. So BlackRock, which is a huge in like investment and banking firm, like basically think of like Charles Schwab or Fidelity or Vanguard. BlackRock is like a style of people with big money put their money in there and then they do some sketchy stuff with that money, right? So, but they brand it as legal, right? So anyway, I over-explain everything, but I want you guys to know what the heck I'm talking about here, okay? So they're over here. They bought every single house in that entire property 20 to 30% over market value. So they came in over the top of every bidder, and there was lots of bidders because we're in a time where people are buying houses like crazy. Came over the top 20 to 30% of government cash, tax cash, printed cash. Hey, and bought these all up, and they're going to subsidize them and lease them out as government funded like low income housing for people. Right? Okay. So some people out there may listen to this and think, wow, that's a great thing. Guys, that is not a great thing. If you trust me at all, just realize that is not a great thing. It wipes out the middle class. It wipes out us being able, and that's how you build wealth, guys. You buy a house and you build wealth from there. Okay? It's the way it's set up here. If you can't buy a house because you can't go over the top 20 to 30%, you rent. You rent from those people that just paid 20 to 30% above market value because they can. Because when they printed all those stimulus checks and they gave them to you and they said, here's $1,200, go have fun. Go stimulate the economy. It's kind of low right now. And you went out and you spent money. Guess what was ticking up? The prices of everything. So that when you spent that $1,200 and you go back to your normal income that you have, everything's a lot more expensive. And that is a form of tyranny. It's a way to raise taxes without letting you know they're raising taxes. And Biden's still trying to raise your taxes with inflation. And what's happening is the Fed is still pumping money into the market, so they're able to basically be off the book. So all these institutions are borrowing banks money at no interest rates. So that's why they're able to go 20 to 30% over the top, because they can. So just be on the lookout about what's going on around us, all right? But me worrying and stressing my stock portfolio because of this stuff that I know from reading and just being a smart human being, not to toot my own horn, but being a smart human being, you can kind of see through the deception of what's going on right now with the wealth gap divide and with 9 billionaires being had after the vaccine comes out. 9 new billionaires. 9 new billionaires. If I gave you 9 apples and said eat the apples, you would throw 8 in the trash. 9 is a lot. That's a big number. That's a baseball team. Can you imagine a baseball team being like, can I get a ride? No, I don't have a bus. 9 billionaires. New 1%ers. But you guys are woke, man. You're the real woke. They steal our words. Y'all notice that? Like the awakened people, that are awakened to the nonsense and the deception of what's going on right now don't get to call themselves woke because the the woke people stole the woke. It's kind of like stealing a rainbow, you know what I mean, from Noah. God's promise. Let me get back to the script, though. You know what I mean? Y'all know what I mean, though? Let me just get back to what we talking about before I say something stupid. Not stupid, just wrong in the culture. All right. Man, we're getting too real right now. What is going on? We're in the RV by ourselves. I think that's what's happening. Y'all are getting the treats, though. Y'all are getting the goodies today. Yo, don't. No, I'm not even going to say it because then it'll probably happen. Somebody going to clip this up and then send it to somebody. That's the world we live in. Clip it up. Put me on Twitter.
Zach Rippey's hateful. He said God's promise was a rainbow.
It says that in the Bible.
No, but you said it out loud.
Yeah, but it's not my word. It's God's word.
But you didn't have to remind us. You didn't have to speak the truth. You could have went along with the lie.
I could have went along with the lie, but I'm telling people to stand on the truth of God. How am I going to stand on the lie when I'm telling people to walk in the Spirit and walk in the voice of Christ and not be afraid of persecution? How am I going to do that?
Well, sometimes that's the sacrifices you have to make to be perceived to be loved by many.
Well, I don't really want to be loved by many. I just want to be loved by God and help other people be loved by God. Well, that's selfish. That is so selfish. That is selfish. That is narcissistic. You want people to love the God that you love. You're pushing your beliefs on people. No. I'm speaking truth. I swear. I'm just saying what the Bible says, and that's the living word of God. Well, man wrote the word of God. Oh, no, but it's God breath. God would never allow his word to be compromised by the devil. God actually lets the devil attack and tempt people. So he would never let the enemy attack his word. Even the devil knows his words and twists it to make you believe that the Bible doesn't really say that about Noah's rainbow. It doesn't really say that. No, that was back then. That was Old Testament. That wasn't New Testament. Oh, but Christ came to fulfill the law that we're supposed to follow by believing in him. Yeah. But don't worry about that, man. That's the old Christ. That's not progressive Christ. That's not like what Jesus was cool, man. He was woke. He just wanted to help the poor. Oh no, he wanted to help the poor by giving them salvation, to put our faith in him so that we're able to God meets all your needs. Oh, that's what the Bible says about that? Well, my church told me different. My church went along with the culture. My church sent out a text that says that you got to call him or her. My church said, I don't know what we're standing for anymore. Woo! Spirit. Let's go. Ooh. So, back to the podcast. So, I was checking the stock portfolio, and I was just embarrassed to call myself a follower of Christ after God revealed to me that I was checking the stock market too much and being in the world and letting it affect me, you know? So I wrote and I prayed about it one night, and God gave me the solution, and he's helping me break the chains. I'm living with my phone more detached from me than it's ever been in years, guys. And it's been liberating for my mind, my soul, my body. And when I even catch myself on it now, it's like, what am I doing? Why do I care? Why do I care? Nothing changes. The culture may get worse, it may get better. And it's nice to see some wins, but who posts the good news? You know what I mean? So I'm just enjoying it, man. My body as well. When I'm not on my phone, I have more time to stretch. When I'm not looking at my phone, I have more time to do some push-ups, to walk around, to talk to people, to ask questions, to ponder things, to build those blocks on how to write this book. when I'm not looking at my stupid phone all day. I have more time. I have more time to want to work on myself as well. I have more time to work out. God helped reveal this weakness of mine to myself, and he gave me the discipline, the fortitude, and the willingness to change my habits up before I write this book. Got to get in album mode. How do you do it, Zach? You're asking me. You're thinking to yourself like, man, this episode's heavy, it's powerful, it's real. I mean, your boy almost just had the Holy Spirit come in and make me cry. I mean, it did. Obviously, you guys heard it. But you may be thinking to yourself, man, how do you do it? That's one thing I never liked when I went to church. A pastor would tell you everything that's wrong with your life, but not how to fix it. He'll tell you everything that you agree with, but not tell you the solution. Change your whole perspective and then be like, we'll see you next Sunday. You know? And not everything has an answer. A lot of things are questions. A lot of the Bible has questions because that's how you get the answers. You find the answers yourself, guys, through the Spirit of Christ. Okay? Let's not get it twisted. It's not me, it's he. He reveals things to you and to us as his disciples. So how do you do it? So I'll give you just what works for me, and that's the best I could do. But a lot of it has to be your own decisions and your own prayers and your own kind of relationship with Christ to help you get those things. But anyway, so what I do in the morning is I check in the morning and night. More so at night. So in the morning, I kind of like check it to make sure I don't have any messages. And then maybe if I have to post something for the show, like the new Olivia episode, I was like, all right, I got to post to let people know that it's out. I posted a picture of me and him. Boom, I'm off. And then live my day. You know, I go pretty much when the sun's out, my phone's not out is kind of the mindset I'm trying to have. And it doesn't work every day, but it works a lot of the days. And then at night before bed, I'll check it out. I'll scroll Twitter, see what happened for the day, what people are mad about, what's going on politically. I'll read a couple articles about something that catch my eye, like that investment one last night really caught my eye because that's part of like the Great Reset plan. It's stuff that they're doing behind the scenes that nobody is really reporting on because the media is corrupt and it's propaganda. And if you don't realize that by now, sorry. Hate to break it to you, but love to break it to you because we speak truth here. All right. So, yeah, I do that. So morning and night, leave the middle of the day. Live your life. Middle of the day, live your life. Even if you go to work and you don't like work and you like checking your phone in the middle of the day, bro, just vibe at work. Go talk to somebody. Go do something productive. Read, write. If you can. I don't know what you do for work, but do something productive during work. Don't just scroll through the phone. That's not healthy. And you and I both know it. So you can do it your own way, but this is the way that works for me. Do I do this every single day? No. But the days I do it now are more than the days I don't. And most importantly, I've done it enough to know how it works and is needed. It's needed. This habit that I've created and that I've eliminated is the only way I'll be able to write this book and actually hang out with my family and give Noah a great summer, you know, when he's here. So it's kind of setting me up for the whole summer. It's a summer vibe, all right? But the summer vibe is going to carry over. And life is about seasons. You know, this next season is going to be insanely amazing. I'm hoping and praying for it, and I can feel it. It's coming. My mind is more clear. My thoughts are about this ministry. My thoughts are about Christ, and my mind is building the bricks for this book to be written. Like we're talking about building a house. My mind is building the bricks for this book to be written. And let's be real. There's a lot of pressure when it comes to writing a book. Especially when you have a community of people you are telling you're writing a book. There's a lot of pressure in that. And it's not easy to finish a book. Because you only get one chance to tell someone what you want them to know about you. And most importantly, what you want them to know about Christ. And I only tell you guys about me so I can tell you about he. I love comedy, and obviously it's a part of my life. It really was for 3 years specifically, and now it's more so just a part of my life in these podcasts and in my everyday conversations. I make jokes all the time, right? But my life's purpose now, it used to be jokes. It used to be to make you laugh. I was a comedian. That's what I told people I was. I don't tell people I'm a comedian anymore. Some people still call me a comedian when they're telling somebody about me, And I'm like, I appreciate it, but I put on for Jesus. Like, I don't know what you want to label that as. I don't know if it's a preacher man or a pastor or a minister or a missionary. I don't know what you want to label me as. That's fine. But I'm no longer a comedian. It's my life purpose to tell you about Christ. Will I always be a comedian at heart? I think so. Will I be able to go back on stage and tell jokes? I think so. Will I want to one day? I think so. But God revealed that to me, that I was to tell people about Jesus when I first got saved, and I hold on to that calling more than I've held on to anything in this life. I would love somebody to say he's a writer about Jesus, a follower of Christ. He tells people he has a podcast about Jesus. I like that one. He has a podcast about Jesus because that's the one that kind of is working in my life. There's fruit from it, you know? There's not a lot of paychecks behind it, but there's fruit from it. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, that's good. Y'all use that in your life. Where's the fruit in your life that doesn't have a paycheck attached? I'll be honest, man. It's so hard to be a voice and a follower of Christ. Let's get even realer. I get attacked by the enemy so much that it'll blow your mind. And I share a lot with you guys. I mean, you heard the little thing I went on earlier. That was from real emotion. That was from real things I go through on a deep level. Almost everything I share with you guys, but there are still things that will have to be shared when the time is right, or maybe not at all. And if the first book does well, there will be more books to come. And in those books, there will be even more truth about the attacks and the power of Christ through those attacks. And my dream is to, man, it's cool to say out loud because I know it is now. Like, my dream is to own a property. I don't know if it's a cabin. I don't know if it's a house. I don't know if it's a condo. In the mountains, meaning it doesn't mean like in the middle of a mountain. No, it means like if I go out on my balcony, I see mountains when I look around. I don't know if that's in a little condo in the city, like a Breckenridge of Colorado or something like that. I have a heart towards Colorado because a lot happened there when I was there in August. A lot spiritually happened when I was in Colorado, and I was reading a lot of this author, this pastor named Dutch Sheets that I really like. He's out there. And he writes books out there, and I love his work. And it's just, you know, you take what you love about somebody's life and you make it your own sometimes, you know. And so my dream is to live in the mountains and write books in the winter. I don't know. I'm a reader, you know, so I used to like reading Stephen King, you know, and thinking about him living in Maine, you know, and writing books when it wasn't nice outside, you know, because Maine is trash to live in. Except for the summers. You know, I don't think Stephen King's writing books in the summer when it's nice out. And I don't think that, I mean, I'm starting my book in the summer where I'm living now, but obviously that's under different circumstances. When you're, you know, in an RV, you can kind of choose your spot. But in the winter, I would love to just be in the mountains and write books. Or maybe even in the spring. I don't know. Colorado's kind of dope in the spring too. Maybe in the summer. Maybe it's always a summer thing. Maybe it's summer in the mountains. I don't know the season. I just know I want to write books in the mountains about Jesus. I think Catherine and I were really, really considering going to Alaska this past year instead of doing the RV thing. That was one of the options on the table. But obviously, we didn't decide to do that. But my father-in-law has property in Alaska, and I'll be out there soon. Not like to live there, I don't think, but just like vibing, you know? So, and again, I tell you guys my dreams because the books aren't going to be about me. They're going to be about he. And I don't do it for the many. I do it for the one. And one day, that one will turn into many. But it starts with the one. It starts with the first book. Book one. What does it do for somebody? And what does that somebody do with that book? Do they share it with somebody? Do they buy it for them for Christmas? Do they recommend it to their Christian youth group, and then everybody that's in that youth group gets the book. 30 copies sold this church, 40 copies sold that church. Christmas time, people buy 2 or 3 books just to give them to their best friends. There are other people that are confused, new, or true believer in Christ. So the one day that one person will turn into many, but that first book has to be written, and therefore my dream to live in the mountains and write books will have to be off the success of the first book, maybe the second book or the third book. You know, because if you boy can be out here making like 50 racks to like 150 racks. And I'm not trying to make the money, but I'm just saying, like, I don't got bread like that to be having a house in the mountain or a spot in the mountains right now. I got bread like that, so I'm gonna need something to happen, and I don't think baby girl going back to work. So I think it's on me, Playboy, to provide. But I think it's on God to provide, man. I think that He knows my dreams. He knows my heart. He knows that if I had bread, I'm not gonna be like worldly with it. You know, there's a big difference between having cash and, you know, letting it be your idol than it is to love God and like let your blessings be other people's blessings. And my father-in-law is me looking at that and seeing him do that. You know, he's obtained a successful career and is able to bless us, not just my family, but bless the entire family. He has like 10 kids. Bless the entire family, as well as take care and provide for his wife and their needs. You know, so it's been incredible to watch and see. And I learned something every single day from her family. They really show me the true definition and character and the love of Jesus and what that looks like through the tribulations too. Everybody thinks that like just because you love Jesus that your family's going to be perfect. No, dog. There's so many things that are broken that you have to work through, that Satan attacks, and you have to pray through, and you have to get on the other side of. Like, those things still happen to a family that believes in Jesus like they do. So I don't want the misconception out there to think that my wife's family is just perfect and they have it good and nothing ever No, there's a lot of things that happen in our family that we work through Christ though. You know, and not every single person puts on for Jesus in the family like I do, or loves Jesus like me and Catherine's mom do. And there's about half, all right, that's like all in on Christ, you know, and we'll have a conversation about him, you know. And I know some of them listen to this. But, yeah, man, more than half. I would say more than half. Maybe half was a little like 50%, and then you start adding people up on your fingers, and you're like, ooh,
Wait, I think I make the 6, 7, 8.
I don't even know what it is. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of kids in the family. There's a lot of spouses. It's a big family, man. I don't even know how many people are here at the beach house right now, but it's at least 15. But we're having a good time, man. I would love to share about it specifically, man. I really want to just kind of focus on what we're talking about here, but we can make it a little bit longer, I guess. All right, here we go. So it's been really cool to experience. Maybe I actually wrote a little bit about it in the future of this episode. Yeah, I wrote about it a little bit in the future of this episode. So let me not talk about it now. I know this is a really weird episode because there's no edits in this one. I'm just going straight off the cuff, but sometimes that's needed when you're just trying to be real, really real with your people, you know. Okay, so God revealed to me the following week. All right, so this is week 2. So the week 1 was no distractions, no more phone, no more stock market, stop stressing money, whatever, you know, get out of the worldly worries. So God revealed to me the following week that I need to be active. I need to be moving in the daytime. I live in an RV. It takes 4 steps to go to the bathroom. Okay, that's not enough steps for my I don't have a Fitbit, but if I did, for my Fitbit. All right, I don't want you thinking Zach Rippey has a Fitbit. You know how like worldly, not worldly that is, but also like kind of bougie. You know, I actually asked for it from my mom for my birthday, and I was looking at it, and then I was like, would I really want to put one more thing on my wrist out here? I have one bracelet that says "What would Jesus do?" and that's because of Armani. He used to wear them all the time, and now my brother Olivier wears them now too, and he gives them out to people. He prays for them while he gives that to them, and it's a good way to tell people about Christ by giving them a bracelet. Anyway, so I don't want one more thing on my wrist, but why am I talking about Fitbits? Okay, yeah, I need to be active. Sorry, guys, I get really over-explaining sometimes. You should see me at a restaurant. I'm like explaining things to the waitress that she doesn't need to know. Did it yesterday. I need to be moving in the daytime, working out if I can, and exploring this beautiful world that he created. Being physically in shape is a big component to a healthy mind, energy levels, and spiritual strength. Okay? Let's reiterate that for the people in the back. Because sometimes your psyche doesn't want to hear this because you like eating like trash. And I've been there. All right? But being physically in shape, you know what it feels like. You know what it looks like on you. The weight you're comfortable with. And I'm not saying be yoked and be shredded. I'm saying be able to go up the stairs and not be able to have the convo after you go up the stairs because you're out of breath. All right? And I'm not saying that means running and whatnot. Just get healthy. You know, being in shape is a big component to a healthy mind, energy levels, and spiritual strength. When the enemy attacks, you don't even worry about it. You got the sword of God and you're kind of yoked? What? Who gonna stop me, huh? The heavier I get, I don't know about you, but the heavier I get, the easier it is for the enemy to attack. I'm off balance. I'm sloppy. I can't even bend down to pick up the lies he's throwing down at me. Life is better when you got less of a stomach and more of a tricep. And I always say, life is better when you're doing push-ups every day. Quote that. Quote that. Life is better when you're doing push-ups every day. It is, man. You know how you feel when you're doing push-ups and you got the tricep in the chest and you're just on the ground going, You know, if you have kids out there, you're looking at your kids, you're like, Daddy's a man. Daddy don't take notes. Who's going to carry the boats? Who's going to carry the boats on vacation? When you order kayaks at the beach, who's going to get out and say, I got the boats? Huh? You afraid to rent kayaks? You got bread but a stomach, so you can pay for the kayaks, but you can't carry them to the dock? My next episode, man, I'm pumped about it. You guys got to come back for the next Bird Talk because it's about masculinity and what they're trying to do to the men of our culture. Come back for that one because, man, I'm hyped. And I'm not saying I'm the biggest alpha dude, but I'm getting there. All things through Christ who strengthens me. Real men love Christ and cry on podcasts. Don't let them tell you differently, all right? I feel good right now. I want you to share this episode with every human being you've ever met in your entire life. I want you to spam email people this episode. I want you to drop this on your stories, your Facebook. I want you to own this episode. This is yours. This is an NFT. You own this podcast. I give you permission. We are a joint ownership of this episode specifically. You can share it. You can sell it. You can redistribute it. This is the episode that's going to make me famous. But like famous for the kingdom, you know, like a sanctification kind of famous, you know, like, hey, he told a lot of people about Jesus. I'm like, all right, my sins are forgiven. No, and I just misled you. If you took that up, I misled you. We don't get our salvation from works or anything like that for the kingdom. We get our salvation and we get our sanctification from salvation. Because Christ saved me, I want to put on for him. I want to tell everybody. And because I want people to know him, because I care about people, bro. I love people. Like, I'm an introvert at heart. Like, I love being by myself and writing. But I love, like, building those blocks in my head of, like, who people are, what people are thinking, and where am I different? Where does God want me? You know, like, I listen to the Spirit a lot more now than I've ever had in my life. So, man, I think that's why I want to write books, guys, because I get so explaining when I talk to people sometimes. And I think it's because it's like a stream of conscience. Like, I don't have a thing that tells me, I have a very small thing that tells me, like, hey, don't say that. Like, maybe I need to work on that. I'm sure I do. But also, I don't know. Every character in the Bible is flawed. You know, David is flawed. Moses was flawed. Moses couldn't even talk to people, bro. He had to have Aaron talk to him. Had to have Aaron talk to people for him. You know what I mean? So, I don't want to act like, you know, loving Christ makes you perfect and you're going to have it all figured out and you're going to be holy. No, only Christ is perfect. So I'll be honest, man, that's one of the things that I struggle with. And I feel like, I don't know if I struggle with. This is a characteristic of mine. Like, I just say what I think a lot of times. And if people don't like it, I don't have them as friends. And that's kind of what it is, you know? So, and it's like, that's why I think it's so important to know people's heart, because my heart does come from a good place, I feel like, majority of the time, especially when, with Christ. You know, without Christ, my heart sometimes came from a place of not so good. And sometimes I fall back into that at times. You know, the old me comes out. So, I'm getting wordy, but all right. So you know what stops you from doing push-ups every day? You know what stops you from putting your hands on the ground, booty in the air, back flat, getting some dirt on your hands, cement hands. Ooh, come on, you miss it. Get back out there. Get on the ground and do some push-ups today. See if you can knock out 20. If you can knock out 20, you're 2 to 3 months away from being pretty in shape. 2 to 3 months. You try to squeeze in 200 push-ups a week, you're Gucci. Y'all want to do a 200 push-ups a week challenge? Let me know. Text me right now. Even if it's one person, let's get after it. Because sometimes I'm going to say I'm doing 200 a week, but I'm going to hit 250 on you. I'm going to make you feel small. All right? Because I don't come in second. I don't know if you know that about Zach Rippey. But, hey, if you're about it, text me, DM me, do what you got to do. Let's get after it. We don't got to film or anything. Maybe we'll post about it one time for the one time. But other than that, what'd I say? 200 a week? We do it for a month. I don't know. Let's talk about it. DM me. But you know what? I'm telling you, I'm getting loose on this episode if you can't tell. You know what stops you from doing push-ups every day? Distractions, laziness, and your own destructive thoughts. One thing that was stopping me and that I'm working through in this season of life right now, and that I know when Noah gets here, I'm going to be was beer. Dos Equis. Come on in and get a beer. Pop off the lid and ooh, ooh, ooh. Have it with your meal. Have it with the guacamole. You can have it with the chips and dips. Just have a beer. It's all good. You're outside. You're eating good. You're living life in an RV, but you don't know the calories. Yeah, so I wrote that just now. That was a freestyle off the dome. What's good? Yo, I'm getting loose with you guys today. I hope you like this episode. Yo, I just like people like, I can see when people tune out. It'd be so funny to see people tuned out at what point. But it is cool. You can see when people come back to it too. You're like, hey, y'all came back to the show even though you had to pause it because you got to work. I appreciate it. But yeah, man, I love beer. I love the way it feels holding one, sipping on one, cracking one open, and enjoying it on a hot day. I love that. Ooh, it's a vibe. I like vibes. Beer is a vibe. Wine's a vibe too, but it's not outside vibes. And guess where I'm at all summer and spring and just the whole RV life? I'm outside. Babe, grab me a beer. I'm fishing. And it's a vibe, but I got to be careful, man, because it makes me bloated. It makes me sleep more. It makes me be lazy with my body and my mind. It's not good for my organs. It's not good for my heart, my blood. It's not good for my memory. I'm over here trying to be a writer, and trying to tell people about God. If I can't remember scripture, like, what? And honestly, if I drink too many beers, like if I have one before dinner, one at dinner, one after dinner, I don't want to do a podcast. I'm kind of buzzed. How in the world am I going to drink a beer and write a book? How am I going to be buzzed writing a book? I could be buzzed writing other people's podcasts. I can be buzzed writing for you. I ain't gonna be buzzed writing for God though. And God revealed to me that this habit has to go. This habit has to go. I'm in album mode. I can't be buzzed working on a book about God. Let's just be real. It's an ugly habit that I've picked up, and I'm getting to the age where I want to let it go. Just let it be. What are you? So I drink beer because my dad drank beer. Ooh, that's going to hurt if he hears this episode. Maybe not, though. He's a man of God. He knows truth now. He's not afraid of it anymore. So, oh, that came out wrong. But we don't do any edits this episode. All right, love you, Pops. I drink beer because my dad drank beer. I kind of see that now, the more I know Christ, I'm starting to like look back and look at my childhood and see the way I parent and do things is, it's like, is it because of the way you were raised or what? You start questioning everything once you know Christ. And although him and I do drink beer, like when we do, we drink it for different reasons still. You know, like I don't really drink it to like escape everything, or maybe I do. I don't know. I never really pinpointed the real reason. I mostly is because of Survive, and it's not. I like the way it tastes. It's dope, you know. And I don't know if my dad did it for the same reasons, or if he did it to like get drunk and numb the pain that he was feeling from his past or his present. You know, I've never really asked him. So maybe I'll talk to him about that next time he calls me. So Pops, if you're listening to this, give me a call. It is still something that can turn into a problem despite us doing it for different reasons if I'm not careful, right? If I'm not careful with it. And a lot of times I say something stupid to someone, and I do that enough when I'm sober. Like I told you guys, that little bar that says, hey, don't say that, is very like, it's like cut off. It's like kind of like, but Christ does build it up a little bit, you know, over time. A little bit. He just adds a little bit of a little level up. So I have to think about this from a Christ-like position. I love beer, but do I want my kids to grow up seeing Dad has beer every few days? No. I'd rather it be once in a blue moon than, oh, look, a fresh 6-pack of Blue Moons every time we go to Kroger. And as much as I don't want to break these habits and change them, it's the only way I will be able to write a book that I'm proud of. And I tell you guys this in hopes that you, my fellow birdhouse, my fellow birds, that you will have something in your life coming up that you need to be in album mode for. What is it? My buddy Olivier is going to Miami right now to take on a nursing job, and he's going to be in clinicals. He's going to find a home church. He's going to start a podcast once he gets settled there about Christ. So in a way, I haven't really talked to him. I told him about album mode, and I hope he learned from it. But our conversation actually inspired this episode, so I'm sure he learned from the conversation that we had about it. But he needs to be in album mode. Do you have something coming up in your life that you need to be in album mode for? And I'm not there completely yet, where I'm like I'm in album mode. I'm deep in it. I don't look at my phone. I do 100 push-ups a day. I don't even look at beer. You know, like I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. But I promise you, it will change your entire life for all the better if you do it, because I'm already on the way. I'm laying down the bricks. The bricks already feel good. I woke up at 7. Listen to me. I woke up at 7:45 today without an alarm, and I went to bed at like 1:45 last night. I woke up at 7:45 to get down in this RV to record this podcast, to get in this Bible. I'm building the bricks. So many of us live stagnant lives and brand it as content. So many of us live stagnant lives and brand it as successful. As followers of Christ, we are called to give glory in all things that we do and actively be attempting to minister to others. I'm quickly learning that ministering to others doesn't just mean to strangers. Doesn't mean to associates, friends, in the birdhouse. It doesn't just mean that. It also means ministering to my family, to your family. And I was in a funk the first night of our annual family beach vacation. I was in a funk, number one, because Noah wasn't able to be here this year, and he's always here. And that's a whole different conversation. Obviously, I can explain all that to you. He'll be here June 17th. The school year got pushed back a couple weeks. Nothing serious, but got pushed back a couple weeks because of the pandemic. They messed up kids' lives in a lot of ways. But Noah's was disappointing he wasn't here, and it showed when I called him on Monday. And it was a bad situation, in my heart. I struggled with it a lot, but I was in a funk because of that, but also because I was feeling unproductive while being here at the beach house, and I think it's because, we've been doing the RV life, normally I'm like working hard, excited about vacations, saving up for it, like, oh, I can't wait for the beach. Noah's going to be there. We're going to pop off the summer. It's going to be great. And now we're doing the RV life. So like, not to, but every week is pretty dope. You know what I mean? So it was just kind of like, man, we're going here. It's awesome to see everybody. And it's like, but should we be on vacation mode? Since this is kind of like our lifestyle anyway. So I was in a funk because I was just feeling unproductive, man. I was like, man, I don't want to just, kick it here and, relax and all that stuff. So I'm like, my wife is just, man, she is brilliant, bro. She's as wise as she is beautiful. Let's just say that. And she said something just so profound. She's like, sometimes building relationships, being face to face, is more productive than doing your podcast. Talk about a chick that keeps it real with you, bro. Like, my first time doing stand-up, she was like, yeah, it was all right. My first time preaching on at Calvary to the kids, she was like, yeah, it was good. I mean, you definitely had some moments where you were like, not doing well or doing dry, or she didn't like, she doesn't hype me up when it's not there, like she keeps it 100. She's truth, and I love that. I respect that about her, and she has plenty of moments where she tells me she's proud of me and she loves what I'm doing, and like, don't think she doesn't value me. She values me on a very real level, though. She's not gonna sugarcoat nothing, and she's a strong woman, and I need her in my life, and she's made me such a better person that I was actually talking to my sister-in-law about this yesterday, and it was really cool. The questions that my sister-in-law was asking me really made me realize like how much I love my wife, and she's very special to me. So her mom and I had a similar discussion, right, the next night about it, about the building relationships, being face-to-face is actually more productive than your podcast sometimes, and she was talking about it. We were talking about it together about serving your family, right, and like what that means, and like the severity of it. And it's a mindset. You have to wake up every day and just be like, all right, how can I meet the needs of my wife? How can I meet the needs of my children? That's in a lens that's not selfish. It's in the lens of Jesus, right? And you can do that too by asking them questions. Like I was really big about going to every single person that's on this family beach vacation and trying to have a one-on-one moment with them and ask them questions that are deep, man. That are life. Not small talk, just kind of like life changing, or makes you think and lets me find out where your head's at about something, And granted, it's harder to get on that level with everybody. It's not easy to get on that level with everybody. So small talk sometimes does happen, but there is different moments where you can really make the impact on somebody's life while you're here. That's my family. I should be trying to minister to them, lifting them up, and that's a way of spreading the gospel of Jesus. Hanging out with your nephews and your nieces, when every other uncle or aunt doesn't, or yesterday, man, this was really special for me. I'll share it with you guys just because I don't really want to write a episode about it and whatnot, because it's just a small story. So my niece Ava, she's been going through just she's had a hard life, man. She's her mom is a dope mom. She's great. She's one of my favorite sisters-in-laws. We have a great relationship. But Ava, man, she has to see her mom go through a lot, like with men, and like just struggling with bad boyfriends and just people that were very harsh to her and hateful towards her and just kind of divisive, made the relationship between her and her mom divided, like with the other dudes. It's just a bad situation. I don't want to overshare, but here I am again, over talking. But she was saying that she just switched schools in high school. Freshman year, she switched schools. Like halfway through it, she had to wear a mask all year. She says it's weird. She's super smart, got straight A's. But it's like cool. She's funny. She's going to be popular in high school is what I'm telling you guys, all right? She's going to be the bee's knees, right? So she just started this new school halfway through freshman year. She's already made some friends, but she wasn't able to keep doing her extracurricular activities of like wrestling and stuff like that because they don't have a wrestling team. So she's like, I have no hobbies. I don't really know what to do with myself. And she was saying how her mom works a lot. And so she just had nothing, for the summer coming up. She had you can tell she was kind of down on the beginning of the family beach vacation too. She got sunburned. She was like on the couch a lot, on her phone a lot, just kind of like, I just, you pick up on the vibes, man. If you pay attention to people, you can see what people are going through, man. Stop acting like we can't. So I saw she was going through a hard time. And then I'll try to talk to her, check in on her, see where her head is at, and, just build that relationship up just by talking to her, asking the question. Because she does feel comfortable with me, where she shares a lot with me. Like, I'm her people. I'm her favorite uncle. And I'm one of the only male figures in her life, so I really step up and try to, step into that. God gave me the door to be an uncle. You know what I mean? So and that's a blessing. I didn't have good uncles growing up, and I wish I did, man. So if you didn't have good uncles when you were growing up, find a way to be a good uncle. Like if your best friend has a kid, be dope. Show up, be there, ask questions, ask for pics. It's not hard to be on the other side of things too. I think a lot of times we gripe on our childhood, right? And we let it affect us so much of like, man, I never had a good uncle. This sucks. I never had good grandparents, or my parents sucked. My dad sucked. Your dad sucked? Well, be a good dad. Your mom sucked? Be a good mom. Do it on the other end. Don't be crappy too. Don't be on your phone all the time when you have a kid and checking Instagram when your kid is right there. Talk to them, ask them questions, laugh, play games, do life, cook together, clean together. Be like, hey, I need your help with something. Ask them for help. Show them something. And I'm starting to realize this. I'm starting to look at my life like this. Your ministry starts with your family. And if you have 1,000 listeners as an episode, is that more important than your own family? If your family's not right because you were too busy doing the ministry for people that are, through the podcast lens where all I see is numbers and occasionally a DM here and there, or people buying shirts and the support. Like, granted, I love the support and I'm so grateful for it, but sometimes, man, face to face is where it's at. If you're too busy doing your ministry for people outside your home and outside the circles that you're in, then you have the gospel of Christ twisted. And it's not that I had the gospel of Christ twisted. I wasn't there yet. I was just kind of working through it. I was just kind of seeing, like, what is it I'm supposed to be doing while I'm here on this beach vacation? Normally it's just kicking it with Noah and just having a blast, because it's my first time seeing him in a while because of the way our parenting plan is set up. He wasn't here, so it's like, all right, Christ, what do you want me to do? My wife gave me that advice. Next thing you know, I'm waking up every morning and I'm in this RV reading my Bible, writing, and then when I leave this RV, I'm building relationships. I'm ministering to people. And then me and Ava, yesterday, we actually, so she was talking to my other brother-in-law about how she has no hobbies and she really wants to learn guitar over the summer, right? I didn't know anything about if she had a guitar. I didn't know if she knew anything about music. I just, while out there reading my book about Jesus, heard her say it, and it rang out in my brain, in my spirit, in my heart to be like, I'm going to take her tomorrow to go buy a guitar. Boom. I acted on it. I asked, I told Catherine about it. I was like, yeah, can you ask her mom if that's cool? Because I don't know. I didn't really want to ask Steph myself. I don't know. I could have. I was just in the middle of, like, already reading a book still. And I was like, yo, can you just go ask her for me? Y'all are sisters, Anyway, I don't know why I explained that to you guys. But anyway, I'm so bad about that. So she agrees that I can take her by the thing. She's like, yeah, it'd be awesome, And then I needed to take It's funny how God moves. I needed to take Sharon's car, my sister-in-law, right? So I was like, because my car was like deep in the cut, in the we would have had to move every car for me to take my car. So I was like, Sharon, can I use your car tomorrow to take Ava somewhere? And then I was talking to Catherine about the car situation, and she's like, why don't you should invite Sharon too, she'd love to go. And I was like, yeah, you're right, she would. Like, Catherine put the idea in my head, but I was like, yeah, let's do it. Like, heck yeah, us going out, having some breakfast, make a day of it. And it was so cute because I was like, Ava, I'm gonna take you somewhere tomorrow. And I just told Ava one-on-one, I was like, are you more of a morning person, night person? Whatever. She's like, I'm whatever you want to do. I was like, all right, cool. Like, she was so excited. Like, deep down, I can tell that she was like, we're gonna go do something. What is it? Like, she was pumped. And then so we're like, all right, 9:30, be up. And then I went and told Sharon the idea that I had for Ava, and to ask Sharon if I could use her car. And then she was like, yeah, that sounds so fun. We went out. I took the girls out. They got dressed up. It was so cute. They got dressed up to go out. I mean, they're girls, so obviously. And Sharon's 18 and Ava's 14. So they're still like teenage girls or whatever. And they got dressed up, and I'm over here like 10 minutes before 9:30 when I told them to be ready. I'm like still like reading the book of Job in the RV, and I'm like, I checked my phone. I was like, oh, it's 9:20. So I called I called Sharon's phone, and right when I was calling Sharon's phone, Ava texted me. She's like, "Yo, we're ready." And I was like, "All right, bet." I couldn't believe that they were, because they sleep in. Well, Ava definitely does. So the fact that they were ready and they were like dressed cute, like ready to go, and I come in and Sharon keeps it so real. She's like, "You better not go like that. You better put some nice clothes on." And I was like, "Dang!" So I had to go to the RV and like get my I Like Birds polo and stuff like that. So we went to breakfast at this really cool diner. We laughed, we joked, we talked. They shared like what was going on in their life with me. And I was trying to give we talked about God so much. It was incredible, man. And then on the way there, we laughed we laughed some more. We just had a great time. And then we get to the guitar store, and Ava had no idea. It was a total surprise. And we get there, man, and she just like, she was shook with emotion, man. She almost cried, and she was just so like in awe about like the situation of why we were there. And then I told her, I was like, "Yeah, we're gonna get you one." And then she was just like, she couldn't believe it. She was so excited. And then we had this awesome dude that just showed us like the dopest guitar that's made from scratch of just fresh wood grain on it. No guitar will ever look like that one. Custom made, beautiful sound. An Eastman, if you guys know what that is. It came with a free $100 guitar case, and we got all the gear for it, like all the like picks and stand, and it just felt so good to be able to do that for her, and just man, it made her whole day. She said that was like a dad's day, and it meant the world to me. She was so appreciative, and like, man, the price tag didn't even matter, man. I went in there like, I'm gonna spend $150, and then no, guitars are kind of pricey, so it was like $390. Hey, it's Biden's money, right? It ain't my money, it's Biden's money. So that's a joke, guys. Relax. It's God's money, all right? So yeah, it just felt so good to like be able to do that. And it's like, man, I've been praying for that. I've been asking God for like, and I'm not saying he's blessed me yet with like he has blessed me already with income and money that's appeared over this last year in my life through investments and just good faith and whatnot. I felt really good to do that, and it wasn't like a self good. It was like a do something for others good, but in a way where it was like detached from the money. It was detached from the price tag. It was detached from, I'm gonna give $50 to this GoFundMe. It was more so like I wasn't even comfortable spending that much money, but like the joy that she had and the Jesus that was reigning on that day really just changed everything for me. It really made me like want that so much more, and it made me want, like when I joked earlier, like make $50,000 to $150,000 a book. Like that's enough money to keep the lifestyle we're living, but also bless others. You know what I mean? So I want to accumulate wealth, of course, but I want to use it to bless others, like my father-in-law does. So I'm trying to put things in motion to like, with investing and just being smart with money and business opportunities and stuff like that. I'm really trying to shape my life in that light so that I can do stuff like that on the regular, where it's like, not on the regular, where you're being over. I mean, I don't even think there's a way to be over generous, but like, obviously I don't really want to go buy guitars every day, but like as just an example of that, and just seeing a need and meeting it. That's what Jesus is about. That's what serving's about. That's what love's about. And it changed her whole vibe, man. I'm telling you, she was playing the guitar when she got back. She was so excited to show everybody. She was taking pictures of it. She was playing it throughout the entire night, reading the book already about how to learn how to play, and like it changed her whole summer, man. And that's so huge, and I'm just so blessed that Jesus put that on my heart. And it wasn't even me. It was I just listened to the Spirit, guys. You just listen to the Spirit. The Spirit told me something else while I was out here, a big decision that my wife and I are going through right now. And the Spirit pressed it on me, what that decision should be, and how to go about that decision, So I'm telling you guys, Jesus is everything. Your ministry starts with your family. And I want you guys to know that, all right? Glorifying, loving, and telling the world about Christ is my calling, but it's also my calling within my own circle, right? And I want it to be for you guys as well. I hope to continue to see the fruit of that calling. And this year, and some change has been incredible. I've seen so much fruit from it. You guys have heard about it all throughout, not just through the show, the website, and the book, but most importantly in my real life, guys, my face-to-face relationships, the strangers I meet, the people that I have in my circle. And in the future, man, when I go back to community and I have my roots on the ground, my boots on the ground, I do hope to build a really good community of people and hope to lead them to the truth, right? And I have to stop thinking in the physical, guys. I have to stop thinking in the physical. Numbers, positive DMs, messages, and stuff like that, and monetary gains. I have to only think in the spiritual if possible, or think in the spiritual more at least. Love, spirit, and truth. Like, who is the man behind the curtain, guys? Who's the man behind the podcast? Who's the guy behind telling you to love Jesus? Because here's the thing, guys. As much as I always tell people, like, yo, men ruin Christ. Christ doesn't ruin Christ. Like, you're mad at the church. You're mad at people in the church. You're not mad at the church. The body of Christ is church, is what church is. You're not mad at Christ. You're mad at man. I don't want me to ever, and I probably already have. That's the thing, but I want the numbers to be low. Come on now. I don't want me to be the reason that somebody doesn't rock with Jesus, or I don't want me to be viewed as a hypocrite because I'm over here like acting holy, acting like a Pharisee. You know what I mean? And I don't act like a Pharisee. I try to always just keep it real and just be like, yo, I suck. I still struggle with this, but I'm working on it, man. Like, you read Job. Well, Job was blameless, but I'm in the book of Job, so that's why I said that. I just pointed at it. But like, you read about David, you read about Moses, you read about even Abraham. You read about all these saints. They all were flawed. You read about my man Paul. Y'all know I love Paul, but he was trash before he knew Christ. But on the journey, through Christ, he was a real one. He was the dopest writer in the book. I love him. I love Paul. I got to read more Paul. I've been reading too much gospel, which I don't think that's possible to do. But I'm in the Old Testament, and then I'm gonna go read something in Paul, and I'm gonna come back to the Old Testament. I'm in the Bible, baby. I'm back in the Word. I told you guys I was doing it. I'm back in the Word. And I was over here like, oh, Job is only 42 chapters. I can finish that in a week. I'll finish that in a week. And then I started reading it. And I'm like, maybe 3 weeks. You got to study this word, guys. You got to study this word. This word is deep. It's heavy. Job is a hard book to understand because you get conflicting inputs from Job's friends, and you're wondering, is that the truth or is Job the truth? Like, you're kind of like going back and forth, and there's truths in both. But a lot of you get to see what Job was going through, and people were telling him to like walk away from God because of the situation he was in, and he was just like, no. His wife said to like, you're worshiping a God that is causing all these tribulations in your life. He's like, I don't care. I worship God. God's made my life terrible, but I still worship. And it's pretty cool. It's powerful. I'm only 11 chapters in though, so don't quote me on the whole thing. Gosh, I get wordy. But who's the man behind the curtain? Is he walking the walk or just talking the talk? So 1 year completed of Bible college. Straight A so far. Just want to put that out there. Doing well. I'm learning more in a year than I did in any other pursuit in my life. I did a police academy. I did music. I did stand-up comedy. I was a waiter. I had a website for a good bit of time. Have I done anything else that's worth mentioning? I think that's it. Maybe there's one other thing. But anyway, that's a lot of stuff. I'm 28. Give me a break. So I pursued a lot of different things in my life, right? But this is the one thing where I'm just like, oh, like I want to build off this. This is like, I want this to be everything. I'm going all in on ministry. I really am. And it's crazy because it's like, is that going to pay okay? Can my wife still stay home? But God provides a way. I don't look at it through a worldly lens. See, and even when I just did, I looked at it through a worldly lens where I was like kind of worried. But then I'm like, God's got me. What am I talking about? Christ is the other guy on your shoulder where you're like, wait, why are you even listening to that shoulder? That shoulder is trash. So all that education that I'm obtaining and that knowledge and those thoughts and the ponderings and the watching the webinars and just getting nerdy on it and the writings for Christ that comes in the future is meaningless. All that I do is meaningless if I don't have a family to go home to when the winter snow melts and the newest book is finished. I can't write the book if my family life isn't strong, because everything starts with your marriage, man. You got to put your wife first, your children, God first, your wife second, your children third. That's the God hierarchy. All right? Biblically, that's the hierarchy. My brother-in-law Tyler yesterday said his mom had this talk with him, or he had this question where he's like, if there was a guy with a gun to Dad's head and my head, who would you choose to live? And then she said, of course, my son. But he's like, well, biblically and morally speaking, it's best to let the husband live for the benefit of the whole family and whatnot. So very interesting stuff. It's called apologetics, where you're kind of defending the faith. Anyway, he's into that, and he was talking to me about it. Good stuff. So me and him got nerdy about stuff, which was cool. We've been playing, me and my brother-in-law Tyler, actually, which is my wife's sister, husband, and my wife and her sister are like best buds, but me and her husband don't really like talk that much. He's kind of quiet. He's like Moses, he said, and he likes Aaron talking. You know, he lets everybody else talk. But once you get him going, he does talk. You just got to find a way to get him going. So I've been getting him going this trip, and I actually have a business proposal that I'm going to give him either today or tomorrow. So I've been kind of laying the bricks, and I haven't been doing anything. I've just been being around, and we've just been talking. You know, I haven't been like focused and been like, But like I said, trying to minister to each person is a big deal to me, you know, and maybe just me being an ear to listen to. Like me and him were broing out on the same teams the last 2 nights in games. Me and the guys played games. We played spades in this domino game called 42, and me and him have just been slaughtering. We've just been crushing. You know, we've just been like knowing each other's beats in the game of spades. Or it's really fun, man. If you ever play spades, definitely recommend it. But yeah, man, so we just been broing out, and so he got nerdy about stuff, and was talking about how he likes to watch videos about apologetics, which is basically like people arguing the other side and whatnot. It's like debates and stuff, so it's pretty cool. Definitely, I'm going to check it out. I'm going to ask him for some links because he says he got a lot of people on YouTube and whatnot. But all the writings for Christ and all the episodes and everything that I do in this ministry is worthless if I don't have a family to go home to, all right? I have big dreams about the books and whatnot, but it's because I have an even bigger God, all right? So I want you guys to realize that. That's the reason I'm comfortable telling you guys my dreams on a podcast and in the book. We can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. All right, Philippians 4:13. There's your verse of the episode. We can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I encourage you to read your Bible in the morning. Do it with coffee. Put on some worship music. Pray. Make it a vibe. An hour. That's all you need. You want more, but that's all you need. Write in your journal. Write down that what your next album is going to be to get into album mode. All for the glory of God, and see the fruit along the way. See those beautiful blonde-haired babies along the way. See your life and other lives changed by the power of Christ, and rest your thoughts on eternal ones. Thank you for listening. It's always a pleasure getting real with you guys and having someone to bounce my deep thoughts off of. Your support to this ministry means everything to me. Listening and allowing Christ to impact your life means more to me than t-shirt sales or Facebook posts or Instagram stories or anything like that. They are all appreciated what y'all are doing for the show, and I always encourage you to do that. So it's so appreciated, and thank you to everyone. But the impact is so much more substantial than that. That's just seeing the fruit of it. And thank you so much to everyone who's bought a shirt and has just put on so hard for the show in its first year of life. We are the I Like Birds ministry, and I thank you for being a part of the Birdhouse, and I love you. And check out some of the previous episodes if you want some more Jesus, because we're in album mode.